Well, I'm pretty sure by now you all know that the Sony ZV-E10 is back in stock. I was able to pick up one, or shall I say I had one shipped to my house. I put this in for an order back when it was on back order months ago at Best Buy. So I was on vacation and I got notification that this was shipping out. But the question I got now, or shall I say the question of the day is, what lens do I get to pair with the Sony ZV-E10? Let's talk about it.
They don't think we can keep making hits about cameras. But I'm the cameraman. But I'm the cameraman. Stay creamy. Yeah, started on a 50mm lens.
If this is your first time coming to the channel, I'd like to welcome you. This is Lessons Learned with Cameras. My name is Willie. So like I said in the intro, I finally got the Sony ZV-E10. I've been waiting months for this camera. I almost gave up on it for a while. But the question I'm presented with now is, what lens do I get to pair with my Sony ZV-E10? Now, I find it kind of ironic that all of a sudden all these new APS-C lenses hit the market and the Sony ZV-E10 is back in stock. Coincidence? Could be. But with that being said, now I'm kind of in a dilemma because most of my APS-C style lenses in my collection are lenses that have optical stabilization in it, except for probably two. I really didn't invest a lot of my money into APS-C lenses because I have my full frame lenses and I kind of have my go-tos with that. Now with me having the Sony ZV-E10 in my possession, that's kind of a game changer. And what I mean by that is I got more options now for what lenses are available to me or that I'm able to use with my camera because of the digital stabilization that's built into the camera. But that comes at a cost, as we all know. There's a 40% crop that comes along with that. I'm kind of back in the dilemma a little bit where I don't just have a full range of lenses that I can select for this camera to be useful for me for my workflow. I kind of have to pick lenses that have a wide enough field of view or a wide angle lens that I'm able to get those shots that I need or be able to vlog with that lens. I know I feel like I'm flying through this, but I'm trying to hurry and get to the field test. But the lenses I currently have right now in my APS-C collection is the 16-50 kit lens from Sony, the f3.5 to 5.6 OSS. I also have the 18-135 f3.5 to 5.6 OSS. I have the Sigma 16mm F1.4, and I also have the 7 Artisan 7.5 f2.8 manual lens. So that's all I have for APS-C lenses. Like I said, I didn't really invest a lot of money or stock into APS-C lenses because I had a Sony 6100 camera and I had other full frame cameras that I was using. But now I'm starting to look at certain lenses or ones that I've been researching lately, lenses that I feel that could be a good suit for the Sony ZV-E10. The first lens I looked at was a Sony 15mm F1.4 G-line lens. There's some pros and cons to that, main con being the price, and it's a hard pill to swallow if you already one who owns the Sigma 16mm F1.4. I don't know, I mean, I look at some of the trade-offs of what you're getting. Sure, you're getting that 22.5 full frame equivalent. I mean, it's a G-line lens, it's a native lens, but the Sigma performs really well with the Sony camera, you know. I don't know if that's enough of an upgrade for me to invest $750 into an APS-C style lens. Now, I've seen a couple of videos of people talking about the Sony 15mm f1.4, and 9 out of 10 these people already own the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Now, if you're one that you're coming from an area where you already own that lens, I don't see how you can pitch it that that lens is worth getting over the one that you already have. Now, if you don't have the Sigma 16mm f1.4, or let's say if I didn't have it, would I go for the Sony 15mm f1.4? Honestly, I probably would, just because it's a native Sony lens, and you know, I would trust more what the performance is going to be out of that lens versus going with the Sigma. Next lens I looked at was the Sony 11mm f1.8. Now, if someone wanted to upgrade to that lens over the Sigma 16mm f1.4, to me that would be more of a valid, legitimate argument. And the reason behind that is this. Okay, you're talking about a lens that weighs probably 178 grams. You're also talking about a lens that has a 16.5 full frame equivalent. So, I mean, that alone, would that be worth it? I don't know, but this may be kind of the deal seller right here, the price. This lens is like $550 versus the 15mm f1.4 that's like $750. for pretty much what I already have in my Sigma 16mm f1.4. And last but not least is the Viltrox 13mm f1.4. Now this one is in some type of a production status right now, being sold through Indiegogo early bird special, which they're I think 360, and they start shipping on July 1st. That would be a significant reason for an upgrade, and the reason I say that is because if you're talking about my Sigma right now, that's a 24mm full frame equivalent, and then going to a 19.5 full frame equivalent, which will help compensate for that 40% crop factor that's in the camera for the digital stabilization. So you can kind of see where my head is going with this. I'm trying to look for ways to combat that digital stabilization that's in the camera that's going to automatically gives me a 40% crop. So that's why I'm doing this field test, to kind of help me determine what I'm giving up with this 40% crop factor with the digital image stabilization that's built into the Sony ZV-E10. So I'm going to pair the ZV-E10 with my old lenses and use it as a gauge to determine what lens I would need going forward with it. Now, some people would tell me, why don't you just use a gimbal? I could get the Zhiyun M3, but I really hate using gimbals. Gimbals are time consuming, they're cumbersome. I just don't want to use them. I got gimbals back there, but I just don't like using gimbals. That would be like someone telling me, why don't you use Catalyst Browse? I hate Catalyst Browse, but I love the results Catalyst Browse brings to your video, but it comes at a cost. Main cost being your time. So with that being said, I think I did more than enough talking. I'm gonna go ahead and get out in the field and we're gonna do the field test. I'm just gonna do it in my backyard because I don't feel like chugging all these lenses out into the real field. So I'm gonna just go in the backyard and knock this out. Now I do have the grip here extended just a little bit, but nothing crazy. I'm not gonna ninja walk. I don't know why it irks me when people do these vlogging tests. They walk like robots, or they walk so slow that it's not natural. So I'm just trying to do my natural walk, and just for that way I won't taint this test at all. Also too, I'm using internal audio. I didn't feel like putting a Rode wireless on there. Again, I'm just in my backyard, so. But this is what you get with no stabilization at all. Optical steady shot not in play. I can't really tell by looking in the screen if it's all jittery and everything. But again, first test. This is with the active steady shot engaged OSS. Again, just casually walking. Haven't changed nothing with the grip extension. This right now I can tell by looking through the display screen. This is probably a little too close. That 40% crop just, I couldn't get away with this. Well, I could, and if I was in a crunch, I definitely could get away with it. I would just like extend the stick out even farther. But I hate holding it out like that because that looks awkward, brings unwanted attention, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel natural. Move it back down. Okay. So, I don't know, something about it. But again, this is the kit lens. So, take it for what it's worth. Again, like I said, still doable in a crunch, but just not the ideal field of view in the back, because it seems like my face is all in this picture and doesn't leave a lot of room without me like super extending it out. So something to keep in mind. And this is with the active steady shot and the camera along with the OSS and the lens. Yeah, that's a huge crop. It's like my face takes up half of the screen. But is it stable? Maybe if I was vlogging, I was stepping to the side to kind of give that effect that I'm talking about something in the background, maybe. But for the most part, nah, I don't see this being a usable option. Unless, let me put the stick all the way out and put it up at an angle, well, like that. Is it doable now? Again, I feel like a weirdo holding it out like this. It's probably now shaky because this isn't natural. About right there is natural. So yep, that is the active stabilization in the camera and the OSS on the lens. This is the 7 Artisan 7.5 f2.8 manual focus lens. So 7.5 is probably about 11.25 millimeter full frame equivalent, and this is what you get. I can't even remember when I bought this lens or even why I bought it, but I had it down there in my collection. And nowadays I just use it as kind of like a gauge. Okay, well, back from the field test. So as you can see, that's pretty much what I'm dealing with. I wanted to take them out there and I wanted to do a fair comparison between the lenses that I already have that would kind of help me make the right decision going forward, because I don't really want to invest a lot of money in my APS-C lenses. I don't. I mean, it's an APS-C camera, but I do want to use it more, and I want to keep my FX3 here in the studio where it belongs because it's a beast. It's hard, it gets heavy, and trying to put these G Master lenses on it and all that. I mean, it's more than I want to contend with. I want to keep a very simple setup going forward, so I'm trying to be very selective about what lens I purchase that I'm going to pair with my ZV-E10 in the long run. So if you like this video and you want to see more like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you felt anything was beneficial or useful from this video, give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. And as usual, I don't know what video I'm doing next. Oh, by the way, I had to break down and get rid of my iPhone 11 Pro. It was real glitchy. I said that in one of my videos. So I went ahead and got the 13 Pro, and I'm going to be doing some videos with this later on. I'll probably throw it up against the ZV-10 or the ZV-1 or A7C something. So I'm going to be kind of mishmashing, putting some of these cameras up against each other. So that would be something to look forward to in the future. So I'll talk to you later.